everyone. My name is Michelle Shanker of michelle.shanker.art on Instagram. This is a charcoal drawing on a piece of wax paper that I then did an image transfer to a Gelli Plate and then brayered paint over top, acrylic paint, to make this beautiful portrait. So I want to show you guys how to do that. So let's get started. First, I picked an image from a magazine that had a large face and an interesting look. I have an 8x10 Gelli plate, so I was looking for something a little bit bigger. If your plate's smaller, then feel free to use something smaller. Then I take a piece of wax paper or parchment paper. In my case, this is wax paper. And I put down the shinier side to the page. And then I'm going to need something to hold this down. So you can use tape, or I had a water container and a candle. So there's lots of options to help you out there. And then I am going to take a piece of charcoal. I got these on clearance at a reused art supply place. And I'm just gonna keep it rather rough because, as you noticed in my original, this was not a realistic situation. It was more of a stylized image. So I'm just going to kind of draw this in. This one is going to have the hand because I kind of liked the angle and the way she was shown there. So, but I'm not going to draw in all her jewelry and such because this is not a jewelry ad. It's also not a hair ad, so I'm not going to go into too much detail with that either. But her face, I am going to pay a little more attention to. So, since that's my main focus in this. And again, since this is more stylized, I'm not going to go into too much detail. But you do want to make sure that your charcoal is pretty dark, so that, sorry, talking is hard when you are drawing. You do want it to be pretty dark so that it will come off when you do the transfer. So if any of your marks, like I leaned against this part and it came off, make sure everything looks good there. And all your marks are still there. You can go over things if you need to. Drawing some of those shadows. And since this picture, she's like wearing a turtleneck or something, I am going to draw in some semblance of a neck so she doesn't look like she completely lost one. And if you make a mistake, you can just sort of rub that out and then redraw it. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I am going to, you might also want to think about like her eyelashes. I just realized she looks a little weird without any eyelashes. They may or may not show up, but may as well add them. So this looks a little weird. Just gonna draw that in more definitively as her neck. And for those shadows, if you want to sort of blend those in, you certainly can. They may not show up as well though when you do your transfer. Just know that. Okay, so now that I have that done, I am going to take my Gelli Plate and press the side I drew onto the plate. Make sure it's flat and rub that really, really well. If you have a brayer, you can use that. If you have a credit card or an old gift card, this is the one I don't put glue on so that it won't rip things when it gets all covered in glue. So it works great for this because there's no glue at this point anyway. And then when I pick this up, there should be her face, and there is. Voila! Next up, we will add paint. Okay, so I picked out my colors for the painting. Really doesn't matter, just whatever you think might look nice together. And I'm gonna pick 2 colors for the main image, meaning her face and her hand. Should have gotten these paints ready. And then I have some complementary colors to go around it to make it more interesting. I don't want too much paint, but so I'm going to start with the lightest color, brayer it on to her face, the general area of her face. Break up some of those bubbles and try to make kind of a smooth image there. And then I'm going to take off that excess paint and then go to the next colors. And then I'm going to go to these colors that are on the main image again. Try to sort of block that in. Try not to leave too much white. Go a little easier there. So I'm not creating as many breaks. I'm going to wipe off my thing. Brayer is the word I'm looking for. I'm actually gonna, well, let me do this first. So that burnt sienna turned out really bright and nice. Put this one down here doesn't really show up, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more paint because I do want these contrasting colors to show up. I'm just going to go across and try to smooth out some of those lines that I created. And then it looks like this is still wet. So let me grab a piece of paper to pull this print. Okay, I have some cardstock, nothing fancy. It's an 8x10 plate, so I'm using an 8.5x11 piece of paper. Trying to place it more or less in the center. And then I'm gonna rub this down really good. This candle works great. Make sure you get really well along the edges, especially because that's where it dries the fastest. But also, obviously, don't ignore any of the other areas, not issues. And then, once you feel that's pretty good, we're going to put something heavy on top. I have these boxes from Amazon that I haven't unpacked yet that are quite heavy. So I'm just going to sit these on top of there and leave it for 20 minutes. So lift up the corner slowly to make sure it comes off cleanly and is fully dried, which 20 minutes should do that. And here we have it. So, okay, maybe I shouldn't have made her hand a different color than her skin. I may need to go back over that and fix that. But overall, I'm very happy with this. And yeah, I need to go in and fix the eyes because I didn't do those very well while I was being quick for this video, but you get the idea. And if it didn't turn out very dark, for example, in the original example, the image transfer wasn't quite as dark as I wanted, so I actually went in and used black oil pastel to darken it up. You could also use a Stabilo pencil or whatever you like. So that's it. That's my project. Hope you enjoyed it, and can't wait to see what you guys will make and how you'll make this your own.